Welcome. Thanks for joining me for this session of chair yoga. I'm Heather, and I'm so happy to offer you a practice you can do anywhere. You could do this practice at your desk if you have an office job, even just for a few minutes. It can really help unwind any of the tight areas in the body that tends to tense up. It's wonderful at any time of day. I love the chair. It allows for more optimal alignment in many of the different postures. We're going to get started, and I do recommend sitting at the front of your seat if you can. If you find you need the support for your back, what you can do is take something fairly solid, just supporting your back to allow it to stay more aligned and upright. Same thing with your feet. If you're finding that you need a little lift for your feet, if your feet aren't connected to the floor, you can put something underneath there. Okay, so we're gonna sink down through the sitting bones here. Find your foundation. The foundation's also down through the feet, the soles of the feet. So take a moment to feel that settling effect as you direct your focus to these areas. Feeling more grounded as you shift your focus towards yourself, your body, getting a sense of how you're feeling right now. And if you'd like, you can close your eyes to help with that transition. Begin to notice your breathing now. The natural flow of breath as it comes in and out. Follow it in through your nostrils and down. And follow it all the way back out. Feel those places that move with your breath. Opening on the inhale and releasing on the exhale. And this time, inhale, deepen the breath, sink it down a little bit deeper towards the belly. And on the exhalation, release more through the breath coming out through the mouth. Do that 2 more times. A deeper cleansing breath in. And a longer breath out. Good. 1 more breath like that. The breath is the link between the mind and the body. And it's wonderful to keep bringing yourself back to the experience of your breath, to stay connected, to stay present, and fully aware of how you're feeling as we transition, as we move through each of the different postures. If you'd like to start with some movement, we're gonna roll through the upper body. So I'm just moving from the pelvis in a nice rolling circle in one direction. You can accentuate that movement, feeling it a little bit more in your ribs, maybe even in your shoulders, starting to feel it a little bit more in your upper back. It becomes a little bit of like that cat-cow movement, that when you're exhaling, you're coming in with your belly, inhaling, opening the chest. But let's take that kind of movement into this pose. So as you roll back, your belly comes in. And as you move forward, your chest comes out, your shoulders roll back. Good. And then we'll start to move in the opposite direction. So inhale again, and you're opening, shoulders back. Exhale, belly in, arching. And inhale and exhale as you come back. Inhale as you come forward, exhale as you come back. 1 more breath like that. Good. This time, inhale. Let's go straight forward into more of the traditional cat-cow. Exhale, belly in, rounding your back, head down. Continue to flow here for 3 more breaths, helping to really wake up your spine, to loosen up all the muscles through your back. And this really helps your spine become more open. It just helps so much with your whole entire back. So it's a wonderful posture to do. I recommend doing it every single day in seated form, or you can also come down to more of that traditional hands and knees in table. Okay, when you're doing it on your own. We'll sit here for a moment, feeling the back as you release that movement. And this time, inhale, lift your shoulders up, and on the exhale, release them down. 2 more times like that. You can always breathe out through your mouth again for a deeper release. Let's take the head and gently begin to roll. If it only feels right for you to roll in a half roll from side to side, feel free just to come, if it feels okay, to start to circle your head fully around. Check out how that feels for you today. Inhale on the way up and exhale on the way down. We're going to reverse that circle slowly. Again, on the inhale up and on the exhale down. And one more time like that. Okay, we'll come back to center. And we'll roll the shoulders out a few times. So inhaling, lifting, exhaling down. Continue to float here with your breath. Or just move and breathe. Don't worry so much about coordinating your movement with your breath right now. Just continue to move as you breathe in whatever direction. We'll go in the opposite direction now. Let's move this into a few arm circles, starting with arms out to the sides and a little bit of a smaller circle before we widen out here. Okay, so starting to widen out. Coming into the full rotation now of your shoulders. Inhaling on the way up, exhaling on the way down. One more breath like that. Okay, now we're going to come back to center. We're going to reverse, if we can remember which way is the opposite way. We'll reverse these circles and gradually making them wider, spiraling out until you're fully moving through your shoulders. And for the next couple breaths, inhale up, exhale down. One more breath like that. Good. And just releasing that, feeling the shoulders settle and sink, feeling the arms hang. Notice if you can feel a sense of energy flowing through your shoulders, your neck. This time, just lifting your right arm straight up. And on your exhale, if you'd like to come over into a side bend, we'll hold this for 2 breaths. On the next inhale, come back to center, exhale to release. Let's do it on the other side. Inhaling, lifting, reaching and exhaling, extending over. Keep both sit bones rooted here to your chair. Try not to lift off with your hips. And on the next inhale, come up. Exhale to release down. Again, release your shoulders. Have that sense that the central channel from the root to the crown is aligned, and you're just naturally feeling more lift through your whole upper body, right up to the crown of your head. We're going to come into a twist. If you'd like to bring your left hand behind you, right hand on the outside of your left leg, and I'm just gently pressing in here. Feeling that nice twisting sensation. If it feels right, you can turn your head to look back, but only if that feels good for your neck. You can also keep your head centered with the center of your torso, helping to wring out the tension through your back. Just like you take a washcloth, a wet washcloth, and wring it out. That's what we're doing. We're wringing out the stress and tension. And at the end of your next exhale, slowly unwind. Come back to center. Perhaps feeling a bit of a release there in your back. Again, we want to sit up nice and tall, feel rooted in those sit bones. Find alignment. For most of us, the head tends to creep forward. So we want to let the shoulder blades drop down, which lengthens the neck. Chin comes in slightly, lifting through the crown. Let's come into that twist. We'll pause here for a few breaths. And anytime you get a sense that you've released a bit, your body's gotten more comfortable here. It feels like there's room to twist a little deeper. You can press your hand against your leg and spiral a little bit deeper here. Try to do that on your exhale. One more breath. Releasing as you exhale here. Come back to center. Find your more neutral position with your upper body here. And we want to keep becoming aware in this pause after the pose. It's important because we realign ourselves and keep working towards more of that optimal alignment in the upper body. It'll encourage your back to be much more happy and healthy. Here's another couple that are wonderful for the back. So we're going to reach back with the arms, come into a nice gentle back bend. Stay there. I'm going to show you from the side what this looks like. Okay, so I'm reaching for the back of my chair and just lifting through the chest. The shoulders roll back. See how that feels. You can slightly lift your chin. Pausing here for a few breaths. Find your place. So that's your job, to try to figure out, where does this feel good in my body? Perhaps shifting a little bit, playing around with it until you find that space. At the end of your next exhalation, release. We're going to counter that with a forward bend. If you want to widen out a little bit more through your legs, if you want to make sure you're right at the front edge of your chair, we're going to come over. Forearms can rest on your thighs. We'll come into a half forward bend here. If it feels good, you want to sink right down, arms reaching down, connecting to the floor, head releasing. A wonderful opening for your entire back, especially that low back that tends to get compressed a lot. It's also opening those hips a little bit too. Stay here for one more breath. Good. When you're ready, on your inhale, take one arm back to the thigh and then the other. And then place your hands where your arms were, pushing up to center, coming back and feeling the effects. Okay. And then I'm going to get you to come off the chair for just a few things. So we're going to come up to standing. We're going to stretch a little bit with the legs. So if you want to position your chair just at the front or side edge of your mat there, I'm going to start in a lunge. So right foot back, left foot forward, bending. So I'm going to stay rooted through that back leg and bending through this front knee, the left knee here. Finding that nice stretch in the back of the leg. If you want a little deeper stretch, it's good to lift your heel, come up onto the toes, and then plant down. You can do that a few times, lifting and then planting down. One more time like that. Good. And this time, lifting your back heel, we're going to step it forward and we're going to switch. So bring your other leg back, other leg forward. We're coming into that lunge. We're going to lift up through the back heel and then plant it down. You might notice one side tighter than the other. Definitely getting a nice calf stretch here. And alternate lifting through the heel and then coming back down. One more time here. Inhale, lift, exhale to sink. Awesome. Inhale, lift through your back heel, walk your foot forward. And then we're gonna walk both legs back, both feet back, I should say. And we're gonna come into that lovely spinal stretch or right angle pose. See if this is the right height for your body, resting your hands on the back of the chair and pulling gently out through your hips. We'll hold here for a few breaths. And your ears stay in line with your arms. Try not to drop your head down. Keep your neck in line with your spine. 2 more breaths here. Remember, you can always bend your knees a little bit if you find the hamstrings really, really tight here. We're just really opening that spine, so you want to push right through the hips. Good. Inhale, come back to center. We're going to walk towards the chair. I'm going to stand here for a moment in the mountain pose. Again, just think, it's always a work in progress. There's always a way to deepen every posture. And it takes time to find your alignment. But just keep working on it and you'll keep finding that your body gets more aligned. And through that alignment, it helps to relieve a lot of the chronic stress because of the misalignments in the back, the shoulders, the neck. So just standing up and nice and tall as you can. Also just feeling the effects of standing up tall instead of like slouching, which kind of pulls our energy down. This is invigorating. This is bringing you more into your own power. You're standing here, feeling that shift. We'll do one more thing with the chair standing. If you'd like, try to lift up through your right foot and grab onto it with your right arm, right hand. And come into a nice stretch here for the front of the quad. Okay. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you would start to push back with that foot. You want to go straight back with the knee. If you want to test your balance, you could bring your arm off. It's a nice feeling of safety here that you can always come back to the chair with your hand in this beautiful dancer's pose. Okay, holding for one more breath. End of your exhale, slowly releasing. Come back to center for a moment. And we're going to switch. So if you want to stand on that other side, reach for your foot behind you. If you need to, you can always use a belt around this foot. Right? That's always an option. Okay. Takes a little while, takes a few breaths for that quad to start to open up and release. If you want to test your balance again, find a focal point, reaching back with your foot as you come forward with your arm. Just for a moment, just testing it. And maybe one more breath like that. And then we'll slowly release. And we'll just roll out through the ankle a little bit more. And then the other side. Okay, we'll do another leg stretch here. So I'm just reminded of this pyramid pose for today. I might actually turn my chair the other way. Maybe go a little bit deeper. If you want to keep the chair, you can always reach here if you need to, but we're going to slide the right foot back quite a bit. And this time the front leg's going to stay straighter. So find your place where you can plant down through your back heel. Right? If you want, you can always come into the more of that. This is a beautiful spinal stretch here, added to this pyramid. If you want to come a little bit lower, you can always rest on the seat of the chair with your arms or your hands. Find your place. We'll be here for 2 more breaths. And then we're going to start to bend that front knee. You can plant your hands on the seat of the chair if you're there. And step forward. Standing upright in mountain. And then we'll step back with the other leg. Try to keep that heel connected. Try to straighten as much as you can through this front leg. Again, you can come higher up and hold on to the back of the chair if that feels nice. Try not to hyperextend this front knee. You want to straighten it without locking it back in place, okay? And if it feels good, you can try coming a little bit lower here. Staying here for 2 more breaths. Next time you inhale, bend that front knee, plant your hands into the seat of the chair, and come up, rising all the way back up. Okay. And then we'll come back to the chair and sit on it for a couple more things. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to try a version of the warrior. Warrior 2 and side angle. So if you want, what we're going to do is, this is my left leg in front here. And normally we come like this into the warrior. I just want to show you an adapted version of it, which is really nice. What you're going to do is you're just slide your hips over to the right side of the chair. So you're not going to sit on it centered with both hips right in the center. You're going to actually pull your hips more to the right. And the left thigh here will be supported by the chair. So might look like I'm doing the warrior pose without support, but I'm actually resting my thigh here, my left hip on the seat of the chair. The right hip is it's off. Try that posture, see how it feels. And if you want, you can also add the arms, turning to look over your left arm. Okay, so it's a really nice way to open up the body on days that maybe you feel a little tired and achy, but you're still getting a lovely opening here. If you'd like to, you can move this into side angle. So now we're going to rest the left arm on the left leg, reach up through the right arm, and bring it right over that side of your body. And kind of look to the right for a moment. Some breath here. Okay, on the next inhale, we're going to lower that arm down, and exhale, we're going to release. So now we're just going to come to the center of the chair for a moment, and then we're going to shift. So I'm going to shift so that my left hip is now off the chair. I'm sitting right at the front edge of the chair. I'm just kind of using it as support for my right hip now, and part of my underneath my right thigh. Okay, stretching out through this left leg. And you can bring both arms up in the warrior two. Pausing here, finding a focal point, staying connected to your body and your breath in this moment. On the next exhale, if you want to start to come over that thigh with your arm, reaching up and right over for a lovely side stretch. Nice, slow, steady breathing in and out. One more breath here. And then slowly release. Okay, we're going to come back to the front of the chair. We're going to sit up nice and tall. We're going to do one more pose before we do a seated meditation for a few moments. We're going to bring the right ankle to across to the top of the left leg. See if this is accessible for you. If you need to, you can slide up a little bit through your left leg, or you can bring it in for a deeper stretch. Okay. You can also gently, just a tiny little bit of pressure usually is all it's needed to feel that stretch a little bit deeper. I want to show you another add-on to this pose, which helps to create a little more opening and space in that hip and alignment. We're going to take our hands around the thigh, just above the knee. So I'm clasping my thigh and just also adding a bit of a pull outwards. So I'm pulling my leg, creating some more space in this hip. See how that feels in your body, okay? If you're more hypermobile in your joints, you don't want to pull too much. If you're fairly tight and tense, pull away. No, just within reason, whatever feels right for you. Okay, we'll hold for a couple more breaths here. And then we'll slowly release. Just wiggle that out. Move your legs from side to side just to feel that. You can move them this way. And yeah, we're going to try the other side. If you want to slide your ankle to your thigh, other side. And one side might be tighter. Just a reminder, I'm sitting at the front edge of the chair. Okay. See what it feels right for you. You can gently press into this leg. Just a tiny little bit is usually all that's needed here. Don't want to push too much. If you want to add that gentle pull to create some space, a little more space in the hip there, just hug your hands around your thigh, gently pull out for a few breaths. See how that feels in your body. Okay, and then we'll release, we'll let go. Sway the legs from side to side here. Sway them back and forth, opposite. And then planting your feet again, centering yourself, coming into stillness for a few more moments, helping to integrate the practice today in this seated meditation. Again, if you want a bit more support for your back, you can always put a cushion or a block between the back and your chair. We'll continue just to sit at the front edge, centering as you focus on your body sensations and breath. On the inhale, your body is receiving vital nourishment, prana. On the exhale, your body is releasing. Softening wherever you can soften in your body, your shoulders, your jaw. Stay more relaxed and effortless for a few more breaths. Taking this time to recharge. As you come inward, it provides an opportunity for a reset, a break from the outer world, connecting deeper with that place of inner quiet and calm. Let's stay here for 2 more breaths. To come out of this, you can just open your eyes, deepen your breath, and do a little wiggle on your chair. And don't forget to smile. Thank you so much for practicing yoga with me today. I hope you have a wonderful day. We'll see you again soon. Namaste.